Hi everyone, it's Erin Bell here, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about using Hypothesis in Canvas in order to create more robust and meaningful discussions and engagements. So first and foremost, what is Hypothesis? Well, this is called a social annotation tool, and I learned about it at the 2020 MLA in Seattle this year. I attended a digital humanities workshop, and some of the hosts walked me through how to use this in the classroom. I'm a literature major, and so annotation has played a huge role in my life as a scholar. I can go back to any book I've read from the last 10 years, and it's got notes and underlines and asterisks and all that because I like to have a conversation with a text. And this is something that I used to model in class quite a bit, right? When I'm in the face to face setting, I like to show students how I talk to the text. Sometimes I even bring in some of those old scholarly journal articles to show them this is what I do when I'm reading a text. I think we often want to get our students out of that just surface reading and get them to that more critical analysis of a text. This could be a speech they're reading for a communications class. This could be a dense business article or journal article in the field of medicine or science. And in this case, it could be a sample essay for a communications or compositions course. So this is the main page for Hypothesis. It's right here, but I want to show you how I can add and use Hypothesis as an assignment in Canvas. And so I'm going to go ahead now to my course modules for the class I'm teaching right now, and I want to go ahead and I'm going to be adding an engagement discussion to this module 6. What I'm hoping to have my students do is read a sample essay of the type of essay that they're going to be writing for their final project. It's the proposal essay, and I have all of us read this as a class. We're going to mark it up, we're going to talk about it so that we can kind of have some fun making these notes together. So how do I do this? I'm actually going to head back up to the assignments section of Canvas. Right here, we have assignments. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to go ahead to add an assignment. Okay, straightforward enough. I'm going to call this module, let's spell it right, module 6, proposal annotations. And I've already kind of roughed out some directions here. I'm just going to copy and paste these here. I might clean this up a little bit later, but basically I'm telling them I want them to go through and we're going to make notes together on this particular essay. So when I want to connect to Hypothesis, it is in fact what's called an external tool. So I'm going to have to find it right here. These are listed in alphabetical order. These are all the different tools that people are trying out. We have Dr. Dustin Salmon to thank for sharing this Hypothesis with us. He was able to connect with a rep from Hypothesis so we can try out this tool right now and see if it works for us. I think it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a PDF that I've already saved to my files in Canvas. I have tried to enter the URL here. That did work in class, but I've had a little bit of difficulty with this semester, perhaps because I'm working from home. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit Select PDF. So you could do the same if you have a good speech. Say, for example, you're teaching oral communication and you want folks to study the I Have a Dream speech and talk about the great use of rhetoric there. I think this would be a really fun way for the class to kind of study a speech together. So here I have it. It's my sample proposal essay. I'm going to select that, and it's there now. And I'll add in due dates later. I'm not going to do that now. I am going to go ahead, save and publish for right now just so you can see what it looks like. So my directions show up here. And this is the window that you get when you are using Hypothesis. And it looks a little confusing at first, but I promise it's not. And so if I want to make any comments on here, it's super simple. I just have to highlight the part I want to add a note to, and I just hit annotate, and I say the student has followed APA formatting well. Something like that, post a college composition, okay? And so that's basically going to allow us to have a conversation together. I can make comments, the students can make comments. I can also kind of see what people are reading and what's kind of interesting to them. So I just want to show you an example of this ongoing assignment I have right now. We're in week 4, and so I did the same thing this week with rebuttal. And so I set it up, engagement discussion 1, practicing rebuttals using annotation. So I found a particularly interesting argumentative essay. It is called Okay Millennial, Boomers are the greatest generation in history. You kids may think your challenges are far greater than those other generations have faced. They're not, and here's why. I thought this was pretty interesting given the circumstances of 2020. And so, again, you can kind of see what kinds of comments one of my students wrote about, here's a quote, it says, "It ain't bragging if you can back it up." And so my student replied to this, "So where's your actual backup? Instead of quoting an obsolete, inappropriate source with a quote, show the actual studies of the claims from the Harvard professor." So my students are already kind of engaging in this text, making notes. They can actually reply back to one another. I wrote back to her, she wrote back to me. So I think this is a really cool way of working through the text. Now, interestingly enough, okay, so someone wrote here, Aaron wrote that the references are not really references, which is kind of great. And so you can already see this discussion isn't due for a little bit, so we don't have all the students on here yet, but they figured it out. It's pretty neat and easy to use. Then you can kind of download it if you want and have those annotations. But it's a pretty neat way to kind of encourage a meaningful discussion practice. I know that I'm always trying to get better with engagement, especially in the online classes, and I'm always trying to encourage my students to do deep, analytical, critical readings of text. So this is just one new way that we can do that here in Canvas. There's some great links. You can go to the Hypothesis webpage. I was already there, and it kind of talks you through how to do a lot, but I think it's a really easy tool to use, and I hope you'll check it out. Thanks for your time today.